Hey everyone, my name is Kanahaiya Gupta and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss Ice Cream Parlor HackerRank problem. Guys, in this video I am going to tell you 3 different approaches to solve this problem and all are in ON time. I know most of the people have solved this problem earlier, but I'll request you to watch this video till the end. If you want to learn something new, please stick to the end and learn the easy and optimized approach to solve this problem. Before moving ahead, make sure you have subscribed to this channel and click the bell icon so that you don't miss any update. Let's start. In this problem, given a list of prices for the flavor of ice cream, select the two that will cost all of the money they have. Guys, let me just give you a brief about this problem. You have given an array of integers which will maintain the cost of flavors, and you have to find index of 2 elements such that the sum of these 2 elements should be equal to the sum of money. If you see closely, the sum of money they are going to spend is 6. So we have to find 2 elements from this array such that the sum will be equal to 6. So if you see in this array, 1 and 5 is the right choice, because if you sum both of these element or integer, you will get the 6. So you have to find the index of these 2 elements. So index will be 0 and 3, but based on this question they are using 1 based indexing. So what it will be? It will be 1 and 4th. So the index will be 1 and 4. So you have to print this. So this is the question, guys. Let's see the input format. The first line contains an integer t denoting the number of trips to the ice cream parlor. The second line is an integer m, the amount of money they have pooled. In the third line, n, the number of flavors offered at the time, and n space separated integers denoting the cost of the flavor. And this is the constraint, guys. So one thing which you should know, guys, there will be always a unique solution. Let's see the sample input. So this is a sample input, guys. So we have 2 is the number of test cases, and this is the m, the sum of money, and this is the n, the number of elements present in the array. So you can see we have 5 elements in this array. So in the similar way, for the second test case, we have m, which is 4, sum of money, and then n, which is number of elements present in the array, and these are the 4 elements. So for the first test case, if you see, we have to choose 2 elements such that the sum of these 2 elements should be equal to 4. So what would be our answer, guys? We can choose 1 and 3, and there is no other option at all. If you add 1 and 3, the answer will be 4. So at the answer, you have to print the index. So what will be the index, guys? 1 and 4. Make sure, guys, you are printing the index based on 1, because they are considering 1 base index. So answer will be 1 and 4. In the similar way, for the second test case, you have to choose 2 elements such that sum will be equal to 4. So in that we can see this is the valid pair whose sum is equal to 4. So what will be the answer, guys? 1 and 2, because it's a 1 base indexing. So 1 and 2 will be the answer. I hope, guys, this problem statement is clear to you. Let's build the logic around it. So this is a sample input, guys, which I have taken. So 1 is the number of test case, and 8 is the sum of money, and 5 is the number of elements present in the array. So you can see we have 5 elements. So for this input, I am going to show you my approach how I can solve this problem. As we know, this is nothing, it's just an array, so which can be represented via this. Here xi represent the element where I is the index from 0 to 4. As in question, it's pretty much clear. We have to choose 2 elements such that the sum of these 2 elements will be equal to m. So based on that, can we write an equation something like this, where x and y are the 2 elements and m is the sum of money, and we have given one number to this equation. So if we can find out the index of x and y which satisfy this equation, we are done, right? So before that, what we are going to do, can we calculate the y value from this equation, which will look something like this, y equals to m minus x. As we know the value of m, so we will substitute the value of m in this equation. So what this equation will look like? Y equals to 8 minus x. So I have given this equation, equation number 3. and we know X and Y both will be lie in this array only. We'll traverse this array and take the value one by one from this array and put it here and calculate the value of Y and see whether this Y exists in this array or not. If it exists, it means we have such pair of element in the array whose sum is equals to M. So let's see guys how we are going to do it. So what we are going to do guys, we are going to take one map here. Guys, those who are working on a different program language, there may be a chances that you don't have map there. So do not bother here. Once I'll move to the coding part, in that I'll show you how to solve this problem using the array also. Have some patience and look for the approach. So this is the map here where key is the xi, which is nothing, just a element of the array, and value is the I. I stands for index. So we are going to store the key value pair in terms of value of array and the index. And we are going to use this equation to populate this array, which is y equals to 8 minus xi, where xi represent the value from the array. So let's loop through this array element and fill this map one by one. If when xi equals to 1, then y equals to 7. So we'll check this value of y inside the map, whether it exists or not. So we can see y equals to 7 does not exist in the map. So in that case, we are going to put the value of xi and I. So what is the xi here? 1. And what is the I here? 0. So we'll store 1 and 0 inside the map. Let's move on to the next element. So if you take the xi value as 4, then y value equals to 4. So we'll see whether the y equals to 4 exists inside the map or not. So here we can clearly see y equals to 4 does not exist. So what we'll do, we'll put the xi and I. So we'll store the xi and I inside this map. So for this element, xi is 4 and the index is 1. Let's move on to the third element. When xi equals to 5, then y equals to 3. So we'll check in this map first whether the y equals to 3 exists or not. So we can see guys, 3 also does not exist in this map. So what we'll do, we'll store the xi value. We'll not store the y value guys, we are going to store the xi. So what is the xi here? Xi is 5. And what is the index here? 2. Let's move on to the next element. Now it comes to 3. So xi is 3 and the y equals to 5. We'll check whether this 5 exists inside the map or not. So if you are checking, then you can see 5 exists inside this map. It means we have found a pair whose sum is equals to M. So now we have two elements with us. One is xi, which we have taken, and one is y, 5, which is already present in the array. So now we have two elements, and what we need as answer, we need the index of these two elements. So one index we can get it from the map itself because we have stored index, and one index we know because we are iterating through this array, so we know the index of xi, and we are going to store this answer in the form of array. So we are having a result array where result 0 equals to j plus 1 and result 1 equals to I plus 1. Why we have taken a j plus 1 and I plus 1 guys? Because if you see, our array starts from 0 onwards, but based on the problem statement, it has to start from the 1 onwards, basically the 1 based indexing. So that is the reason we have added plus 1 into the index. And why in the result 0 we have stored j? Why not I? Because result 0 is the first element which we are picking from the array. So if something is already present in the array, it means that element comes before, right? So that is the reason whatever the index is present inside the map, which is a j, we are going to store into the result 0. And result 1 will be I plus 1. So if you put the value of I and j, the result will be 3 and 4. So the output for this sample input will be 3 and 4. And this is the answer guys. So you can see guys, if you add 5 and 3, the answer will be 8. Let's see the algorithm in action guys. So this is the approach 1 guys, where I will use the hash map, and this is the approach 2nd, where we'll use pure array, and this is the approach 3rd guys, which is the editorial approach. So I'll discuss this one by one. So this is the first approach, guys, and this is the method name Ice Cream Parlor A1. A1 is just like because it's approach 1, so I have given a A1. So in that we are accepting two parameters. M is the sum of money and the input array. So I've taken an array of size 2 because we have to return the index of those two numbers whose sum is equals to M. So I've initialized the map here. So this is the for loop, guys, where we'll loop through the complete array. And this is the X which we are getting from the array element. And this is the Y we are calculating by using M minus X. So here we are checking the value against Y which is present inside the map, which will store into the J. And we are checking whether J is null or not. If J is not null, it means the value exists. J is having some valid value and we found a valid pair. And once we are sure we found a valid pair, we are storing the J plus 1 into the result 0 and I plus 1 into the result 1. And we don't need to check for all the elements present inside the array. So we'll break the loop immediately. But if it is not true, so in that case, we are going to store or put xi, which is nothing, just a element from the array, and then index, which we have seen in the algorithm part. And at the end, we are going to return the result array. So this is the approach 1, guys. Now let's talk about the second approach using array. This is also similar kind of approach, guys, where you don't use hashmap. Instead of that, you will use the array. So I've taken a result array, guys, to return the result. I'm calculating the length of the array here, and instead of using a hash map, I'm using a frequency array. And why I have taken this array of size 10,001, guys? Because if you remember in the constraint, it's clearly mentioned that what the cost of the array will be. It will be 10 raised to power 4. So whatever the element present inside the array, it will lie between 1 to 10 raised to power 4. And we know for easy calculation, I have taken this 10,001. So I have filled this array with -1. You'll see, guys, why we have filled this array with -1, but in the starting I'll fill this array with -1. Now I'm looping through the complete array, guys. So in the similar way, I'm calculating the X, which is nothing, just a array value, and this is the value of Y, which you can calculate by using this formula. And here I'm checking whether Y greater than or equals to 0 or not. Why? Because Y is nothing, it's just an index which we are going to use it, and we know array having positive index, so I'm just going to check whether it's positive or not. So you'll see if this frequency array contains any value against Y or not. So that will store in a J, and then we'll check whether J not equals to -1. As we know, in the array we have stored default value as a -1. In hashmap we know default value is null, so we are comparing with null. So here we have stored default value as a -1, and we know now J is not -1. It means it's something else which is stored by us only. So it means we found the valid index here. So in that case, we are going to store these two indexes in the result array, and we will break the loop because we don't need to go further. If this is not true, then we are going to store I indexed against X. So we'll store the value of I against X index, and at the end we'll return the result from this method. I hope, guys, this solution is clear to you. And the third approach, I will leave it as exercise for you guys. Guys, this is a similar approach which is mentioned in the tutorial. So once you solve this problem, you can check out the tutorial. Same is mentioned over here. This is the same approach which is present, but I have given a descriptive name so you can yourself go through. I hope, guys, you have enjoyed it, and if you find this tutorial helpful, please share among your friends. Thanks for watching, guys.